Located in the heart of the stockyards, the Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame is really 3 museums in one.
We actually have 3 displays here in the Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame. We have 41 cowboys and cowgirls who are honored in various aspects of the rodeo competition or business. We have 65 wagons in the Starkville Waggon collection, and we have 3 large displays on the John Justin Trail of Fame.
The Trail of Fame honors John Justin, one of Fort Worth's favorite sons.
John Justin was a former mayor and city councilman here in Fort Worth. Many people know him, whether they're from Fort Worth or not, because of his connection, his family's connection with the John Justin Boot Company. He was on the board of directors for the Fort Worth Stock Show for many years. He made a lot of money here in Fort Worth, and he gave a lot of it back to the community in the forms of buildings at TCU. Their sports center is named for him. There are buildings at the stock show that have been endowed and named for him as well. And it traces his career as a boot maker, and also his companies were very diverse. He had owned a company that produced the limestone for the Angels at Bass Hall in downtown Fort Worth. So the family is very diverse and has contributed a great deal to Fort Worth, and we're very pleased to honor them here in the John Justin Trail of Fame.
The most impressive exhibit at the Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame is the extensive Starkville Waggon collection.
I do have my favorites, and I think the visitors will have their favorites when they come. People ask about the overall number. There's about 65 in the collection. The oldest, the newest. The oldest is a 1750 Sicilian Cart. It's hand-painted, has handmade ironwork on it. It has inscriptions and the maker's name underneath it. We have it displayed over a mirror. That is a 1750 wagon. That means it's about it was 100 years old when they fought the Battle of the Alamo. Most of the wagons date from around 1900 to 1920. There's an authentic Standard oil wagon. Some of the wagons are authentic to what they were originally, like the Blake Laundry wagon. There really was a Blake Laundry in Brooklyn, New York. There's a Price Dairy wagon that's from Pennsylvania. Standard Oil is an authentic wagon. Many of the wagons, however, come out of Mr. Starkville's imagination, and we call them folk art in that regard because he got the pleasure of making them up much like a poet or someone who writes music. He got to name the Cooper wagon and decide that it was from Waco, Texas. And in some cases he put his own family names or his grandfather's rural route number, and he had the pleasure of doing that. None of the wagons have been altered from their original use, but the name on them or the color scheme he took from old catalogs. So he got to personalize some of them in that way, and that makes them special to us as well. There's quite a variety and a diversity of the wagons here in the collection.
Just as the wagon collection pays tribute to a past way of life, the Cowboy Hall of Fame pays tribute to present-day cowboys and cowgirls.
Since we acquired the collection from HICO, we have added another 7 displays to the Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame, and we've tried to expand it beyond just rodeo competition or cutting to rodeo trick riders like Mitzi Riley, to the gentleman who originated the Justin Sports Medicine program, and that's Dr. J. Pat Riley. We've also added the aspect of Texas ranches with Buster and Shayla Welch, and with Bob Morehouse of the famous Pitchfork Ranch. So with that diversity, we think that the Cowboy Hall of Fame is going to be something really very special, from an important beginning to something very special in the years to come. That's where our expansion will come from as well. The wagons, we probably will not add to the wagon collection in the foreseeable future, but we will induct new folks into the Hall of Fame every year. When the idea came about for us to add another museum to the stockyards, something like this really is a perfect match. We're in one of the largest National Register historic districts in the country. It was designated, I believe, back in the 1970s. We're in a historic building. This particular building has a state historical marker. It's the Horse and Mule Barns. It's one of the barns connected with the market, the horse and mule markets of the 1940s. It was one of the largest horse and mule markets in the world during World War I. It was built in 1912, and it makes a wonderful gallery for this collection. So we have historic displays here in a historic building in a historic district, and the visitors respond very positively to that. It's been a wonderful experience during our first year sharing this museum with over 50,000 people.
The Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame is working to provide a link to the past and is keeping the cowboy spirit alive and well here in the present.